All those UX design is dead videos are now completely obsolete. What was being used as a scare tactic to get more clicks and views turned into a nudge or a shift in the industry. And just like always, the smartest designers in the world have come forward with 5 of the most important areas where AI has shifted design or changed design. And they're literally saving the design industry right now by providing direction and clarity on where design is moving to next. In today's video, I'm breaking all these 5 crucial points that you need to adhere to if you're trying to grow as a designer, if you want to get new jobs as a designer in the coming future. These are absolutely essential. Alright, so the biggest one of them all, which almost broke a war between developers and designers, was can designers actually push to production code? The simplest answer would be yes, but the more detailed answer reveals a lot more about it. Let's take, for example, the massive international company Intercom. They've built enterprise-grade level software and designs for many years now. Emmett Connolly from Intercom recently on stage stated how their entire 30-person design team has shifted from a UX designer-centric team to a front end. So now what the team is doing is, instead of sending their designs to developers, handing off specs and icons and graphics to the developers for them to then code it out into the application, which would take a few days. Now they're pushing their designs directly to the front end code. Keyword: front end. Instead of tweaking what the app can actually do functionally, they are tweaking the visuals with the power of vibe coding. Emmett states that they're using Cursor and Claude Code to connect directly to their company's code base. Of course, they have set up a lot of parameters and principles and customized these AI tools to directly push clean and company-specific code. But the fact that designers are skipping the developers and going directly to this pushing process or production process is a new revelation in the industry. If you've ever used no-code tools like Framer and Webflow, you're aware that a designer can make front-end visual changes without breaking the functionality, without breaking the back-end of the application. This has actually birthed and increased the potential of a new career in UX design, and that is UX engineering. I'm sure you've heard this term here and there, and it's floating around due to this nudge in the AI direction. And it simply means a designer who can code, be it vibe code, and then push their designs or changes to the application. Earlier, you needed coding knowledge until this whole AI revelation came in. In fact, companies like Google are actually pushing for this new area, which is called UX engineering. They have a dedicated page called UX Engineering Guide, where they literally are showing how a UX engineer's day in the life looks at Google, how they are expecting UX engineers to show up in the company, or what is that role for their company specifically. And you can learn a lot from that resource as well. Next up is becoming an AI native designer. Now, becoming an AI native designer doesn't mean exactly what you think it means. Writing good prompts, being a prompt engineer was definitely trending a couple of years ago when AI really caught attention of users. However, now it's shifted and it's mostly about personalization and customizing your AI or AI workflows to best fit the company's needs, to really get desired results and to create AI agent. Recently, I came across this really cool video by Dive Club, where a leading designer from Stripe actually came forward to share how he customizes AI to fit his workflow. A perfect example of this was how he was using skills with Claude Code. What are skills, you might ask? These are some presets or predefined instructions given to the AI to make sure that they give you the desired result that you're looking for, to fit the particular needs of the company or the user, or to act as a particular assistant. So if you want, say, your AI tool to act like a writing assistant, you can give it a writing assistant skill. It's essentially teaching your AI to specialize in an area, to feed it research data, to give it references which are relevant to your work. This has actually given rise to a new file type which everyone is writing or talking about these days. The file type is called .md. It's basically a text file with all the instructions on what kind of design system that the AI tool should follow, company's philosophy, the brand's guidelines or styles. but a text file which can be understood by the AI and not so much by humans. In fact, there are some popular designers who've recently taken out tools to convert any design or website into a .md file and then feed it forward to your AI tool. I'll have a few links down in the description if you want to check out those tools. Now, this next one is something which every designer is using as backup to explain why creativity, design, and research still matter. And it's actually something that always existed. One can argue even from the point of time where computers were first invented. This one factor has stayed consistent and equally important. And this 5-letter word is called taste. And yes, taste. Taste has been now proven to be a very strong filter in this AI era. We look through all the screens produced by these wide design tools and filter through the best resources that we can find. In fact, we just might throw out half the design because it doesn't fit the business or the user's requirement. We're also the intermediaries between the users and these AI tools. For what requirements we feed into the AI depends on our knowledge of design and the users, as well as the business at the same time. Let us put it this way, the least we know about our own project, about our own users and business, the lesser the AI will know about our business, our users, or our design process. It's all about what we are feeding, what is going in as input, which determines what comes out as output as well. How many of you guys have used a UI kit to complete a project faster? I'm sure 90% of you will say yes, because that is how many times we have reused old or ready-made components to finish a project while utilizing our knowledge of design, UX, research, and more. Recently, I spoke to a couple of senior designers, and something that they said to me stood out very well. AI actually helps you get to bad ideas faster. Earlier, we had to do an entire process to get the bad ideas out of the gate. So getting to bad ideas faster can be a superpower that AI actually brings to the table so that we can focus on the good ones. I'll have obviously all the relevant links in the description. Moving on to the next point. The design process is dead. This statement sounds rather very harsh. Recently, a clip was going semi-viral in the design space where head of design at Claude, who used to lead design teams at Figma and other prominent teams, Jenny Wen, outright came and said that the design process, according to her, is absolutely obsolete. Now, this statement is not 100% false. This comes with the pretense that a lot of developers, PMs, and non-designers in teams are actually now competing with designers. You'll see designers push production code, something we spoke about earlier, and you will also see PMs pushing designs to the developers directly, skipping the design process as well. In fact, a lot of designers I've recently met at a lot of different conventions and meetups that we've done said that they have skipped doing blank. Fill this blank up with any of the steps in the design process, and you'll see a lot of designers doing that all across the globe. We have stopped using this tool and skipped doing a certain part of the process. And this isn't something new at all. For example, we often used to skip ideation. We used to skip research if we had enough research information or data. We used to skip testing if we were very sure that something is going to work. This is just called creating design sprints. Now with AI, skimming down on the process has actually become pretty easy. We can skip a lot of steps that AI is enabling us to do faster and focus on areas which we still really can't skip with AI. We see Google Stitch claiming to the world that vibe design or vibe prototyping is now here, saying that you can design and prototype with AI and you don't have to completely do that step anymore. Similarly, Figma is claiming that you can design and push to production with Figma Make, almost making their prototype features obsolete. And these changes do make a difference. The tools we use come into our process and the process also gets skimmed down. I'll have some of the links to Wendy's talk and so much more. You make your mind up whether you agree to that statement or not. Talking about the truth, let's look at the fifth point. That is the direction change that AI has caused, or the direction change that the changing industry has caused. I'll take an actual live video right now, for example. This developer in the video talks to this non-developer who vibe codes an actual working prototype or working application that runs in the browser. He then gives this application to the developer to do a little bit of QA to test out the product before they can release it. What the developer states at the end actually surprised me a little bit. I thought he would be mad that vibe coding is not the way to go and he would straight up say that this is not the future. But he made a statement that would shock a lot of us, that the process of vibe coding an application or a product would come with the consequence of sticking to that process. That means if companies want to vibe code something and release to the public, handing it over to the developer will be way more expensive and way more risky in the long run than sticking to that AI toolset and making more changes and scaling it up that way without the intervention of developers at all. Whereas they could also have made the decision to choose the path to just hire developers and do everything from scratch, let the developers take the decision of whether to use AI tool or not, or to just do things with pure vanilla code. Both the directions have their positives and negatives. I'll of course not bore you with those positives and negatives. So this opens up the door to companies actually making decisions for us. So if a design leader comes and says, my team needs to employ this AI process into their workflow, well, they just go for that. At the same time, the design leader can take the positive decision to remove AI from some areas and let designers take the wheel for one. So let me quickly summarize the video for you, just in case you forgot something. UX design is moving towards UX engineering, or an overall front-end design and development process. So expect a lot more UX engineer jobs to pop up in the coming months or years. Becoming an AI native designer is much more than just knowing design tools and prompting. It is about customizing tools and customizing your process to work around your existing processes, needs, wants, desires, etc. Argument of tastes will persist. So taste is something that cannot be replaced. AI can try and mimic taste. AI can try and bring tasteful decision making to the table, but not human intervention, which humans are necessary for. The design process might not be dead, but it needs to be completely redefined. Companies like NN Group are already teaching designers how to design with AI as a center of the process, along with users, of course. And yes, directional change, depending on leadership, depending on what companies are thinking or wanting to do, and the kind of direction we want to take. Do we want to be dependent on AI to do certain things and remove the designers and developers a little bit? Alright, so I hope this video was sound and useful to you. I hope I was able to summarize everything that I've watched, learned, heard of in one video. If I did, a thumbs up would be more than what you can do to support the channel. I'll see you guys in the comment section, so let me know what you think about these changes. I'll see you next week. Until next time, take care. God bless.